Today's story is about Katalin Karády, one of Hungary's most famous actresses and singers. Millions admired her beauty and her unforgettable voice. But behind the glamour of the movie screen was a woman of remarkable courage. During the Second World War, she risked her own life to help Jewish people escape persecution. She was arrested, beaten, and imprisoned by the Gestapo, yet she refused to betray the people she was trying to save. For many years, her heroic actions remained almost unknown outside Hungary. As you listen to this story, you will improve your English while discovering one of the most inspiring stories of courage and humanity in 20th century Europe. If you enjoy learning English through true stories, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and support my work on Ko-fi. The link is in the description below. Now, let's begin the story. Katalin Karády was born as Katalin Karády on December 8, 1910, in Budapest, Hungary. She grew up in a poor working-class family. Life was not easy. Her father was known to be strict and often violent. The children lived in constant fear, and money was always scarce. Katalin later said that her childhood taught her how quickly happiness could disappear. Perhaps these difficult years also taught her something else. They taught her compassion. She understood what it meant to suffer, and she never forgot those experiences. As a young woman, Katalin dreamed of a better life. She worked hard to educate herself, studied languages, and became interested in acting. Unlike many future movie stars, she did not become famous overnight. She spent years learning her profession and searching for opportunities. Eventually, directors noticed her striking appearance. She was tall, elegant, confident, and had a deep, unforgettable voice that was unlike anyone else's. By the late 1930s, Hungary had discovered its newest star. Katalin Karády quickly became one of the country's most successful actresses. She appeared in film after film. Audiences filled cinemas to watch her. Her songs became enormously popular. Perhaps her best-known song was Hemvado Cigaretaveg, which remains one of Hungary's most famous songs even today. Many compared her to Hollywood stars. She represented elegance, mystery, and independence. Women admired her style. Men admired her beauty. Journalists followed her every move. She seemed to have everything. Fame. Success. Money. But history was about to change her life forever. During the late 1930s, Europe became increasingly dangerous. Nazi Germany expanded its power. Anti-Jewish laws spread across many countries. Hungary, which had become an ally of Germany, also introduced laws limiting the rights of Jewish citizens. Many people remained silent. Others looked away. Karády did not. She had many Jewish friends in the film industry. Actors. Writers. Musicians. Directors. She watched as talented colleagues suddenly lost their jobs simply because they were Jewish. Then came 1944. Germany occupied Hungary. Within weeks, persecution became far more brutal. Thousands of Jewish families were forced into ghettos. Many were deported. Fear spread throughout Budapest. During this terrible time, Karády quietly began helping people. She used her fame to move around the city with less suspicion than ordinary citizens. According to historical accounts, she hid Jewish people, provided food, arranged false documents, and helped children escape. One of the most famous stories tells of how she rescued Jewish children who were being taken away by members of the Hungarian Arrow Cross militia. Witnesses later remembered her confronting armed men. She demanded that the children be released. Her courage surprised everyone. Because she was a famous actress, the soldiers hesitated. Several children escaped because of her actions. Every rescue involved enormous risk. If she had been caught, she could have been executed. Still, she continued. Soon, the Gestapo became suspicious. Karády was arrested. She was interrogated. She was beaten. She spent months in prison. The Gestapo wanted information. They wanted names. They wanted her to betray people who were hiding. She refused. Despite the violence she suffered, she did not cooperate. Eventually, she was released, but her health had been seriously damaged. The physical injuries healed slowly. The emotional scars remained much longer. When the war finally ended in 1945, many people hoped that peace would bring freedom. For Karády, things became complicated once again. Hungary soon came under communist control. The new government did not trust celebrities from the previous era. Many artists found themselves under political suspicion. Karády's films were no longer shown regularly. Her career declined. The woman who had once been Hungary's biggest star suddenly found very little work. In 1951, she made one of the hardest decisions of her life. She left Hungary. Like many others seeking freedom, she escaped across the border. Eventually, she reached Western Europe. Later, she moved to Brazil, where she started a completely new life. Imagine how difficult that must have been. She had once been recognized everywhere. Now she lived in a country where almost nobody knew her name. She later settled in New York City, where she spent many years working quietly. She owned a small business. She lived a simple life. Many people around her had no idea that she had once been one of Europe's biggest movie stars. Even fewer knew about her wartime heroism. For decades, her acts of courage remained largely forgotten. Then historians began uncovering new evidence. Survivors spoke about the actress who had saved lives. Documents were examined. Witnesses shared their memories. Gradually, the world learned that Karády had been much more than a famous singer. She had been a rescuer. In 2004, many years after her death, Israel honored Katalin Karády with one of its highest civilian recognitions. She was named Righteous Among the Nations by Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial in Jerusalem. This title is given to non-Jewish people who risked their own lives to save Jewish people during the Holocaust. It is one of the greatest honors anyone can receive. Karády had never asked for recognition. She never described herself as a hero. Like many rescuers during the war, she believed she had simply done what was right. She once had everything that fame could offer. Then she lost almost all of it. But what remains today is not only her music or her films. It is her courage. Her willingness to stand beside people who had been abandoned by almost everyone else. History often celebrates powerful leaders. Yet ordinary acts of kindness can sometimes have an even greater impact. Karády could have protected herself. She could have stayed silent. She could have ignored what was happening. Instead, she chose compassion. That decision placed her own life in danger. Many years later, survivors remembered not only the famous actress. They remembered the woman who refused to abandon them. Today, visitors in Hungary can still watch her films and listen to her songs. But perhaps her greatest performance never appeared on a cinema screen. It happened in the streets of Budapest, during one of history's darkest moments. There were no cameras. No audience. No applause. Only frightened families, desperate children, and one woman who believed that every human life mattered. That is why Katalin Karády deserves to be remembered. Not only as one of Hungary's greatest stars, but as one of its bravest women. Her story reminds us that courage does not always wear a uniform. Sometimes it wears an elegant coat. Sometimes it sings beautiful songs. And sometimes it quietly changes the lives of people who will never forget the kindness they received. Katalin Karády died in New York on February 8, 1990, at the age of 79. Today, her voice still moves listeners. Her films are still watched. But perhaps her greatest legacy is the example she left behind. An example of compassion. An example of courage. And proof that one person can make a difference, even in the darkest times. If you enjoyed learning English through this inspiring true story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to support my work, you can buy me a coffee on Ko-fi. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next story.